Welcome back. Today we are making these adorable penguin cupcakes. I'm making them on a 4-inch base, and I'm spreading a little bit of buttercream onto that to help secure our first cupcake and keep it in place. On top of that, I'm spreading a very thick and generous layer of vanilla buttercream so that my next vanilla cupcake will stay in place. On top of that, I'm piping a nice little dollop of frosting, and then I'm inserting a wooden skewer into the middle of the cupcake stack just to help keep it in place while I crumb coat it. I began by working some of that frosting from the top down, and then I realized I just needed to add a little bit more frosting to the sides. I carefully smoothed this with a small offset spatula and chilled it in the freezer for about 10 minutes until it was firm to the touch. Then I added on a generous second layer of black buttercream, which is colored using some gel food coloring and black cocoa, and that's what gives it a really nice deep shade. To smooth it out, I used an acetate sheet just because the top of our penguin's head is going to be curved, and I wanted to get that nice and smooth. I chilled my cupcake stack one more time to help make the next steps easier. Once it was firm to the touch, I piped on a heart-like shape with some white buttercream and then filled it in. The key to getting this super smooth is to really take your time with your offset spatula and to make some slow, very intentional strokes. So after a few passes, I got it pretty smooth and I was happy with it. And then I used some more black buttercream to pipe on 2 little fins. Then I added the penguin's beak with some orange buttercream and used some additional black frosting with a small round tip to pipe on the penguin's eyes. To give them a little bit more life, I added a tiny bit of white buttercream to them to make them look like they were glistening, and then I added some cute little pink cheeks. I used a toothpick to clean up any details that needed it, and then it was time for another special little penguin. So for this one, I'm only using 1 cupcake that I cut in half, but I'm going to follow the same steps. So this is going to be a baby penguin. Believe it or not, the baby penguin is actually a little bit harder to frost just because there's so little surface area, but I really just took my time smoothing out that black frosting and then used the same steps of using an acetate sheet to try to get it really nice and smooth. Once I was happy with the way it looked, I chilled my cupcake in the freezer for about 5 minutes until it was firm to the touch, and then I piped on white buttercream again. For this, I went all the way down to the bottom of the cupcake just because this little penguin is so short. I needed as much space as I could get. I again piped on a little beak and 2 eyes and added that little gleam of white frosting again. To make these penguins, I'm using my favorite vanilla and chocolate cupcake recipes, but if you had a marble cupcake recipe you loved or some other type of cupcake, you can totally use that as well. So once my little penguin was complete, I made 1 additional big penguin to round out my penguin family. To create a fun snowy landscape for them, I'm using this beautiful tray that I got from Happy Crafts, and I'm covering it with some shredded coconut. And I wanted this to look kind of like a winter wonderland thing, and I even tried to make it look like it was snowing by sprinkling some additional coconut. And then sadly it was time to cut into our penguins because as cute as they are, they're edible and delicious, and we made them so that we could eat them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to recreate these penguins, the recipe for them is up on Chelsweets.com, and I'll include the link in the video description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again soon.